We jump in. We've got a lot going on tonight. I'm really excited to have Talisha White here from Lovable, which is. I mean, most of you on this call know that I talk about Lovable a lot. It's one of my favorite of the vibe coding tools. And Leah, good to see you. We are in May in 2025.
I was thinking about, we are about to celebrate our 2.5 year anniversary at the end of June, I think, right? 2.5 years, Kyle.
I know.
2.5 years.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's like, I mean, we'll talk about some of this tonight, but we knew that when we started this, things at some point would accelerate. And 2025 is the acceleration year.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're about to just blow into some new phase of working. And I feel like the salon is more important than ever. I feel like community is more important than ever. I feel like digging deeper and understanding what AI is, what it makes possible, how it's changing, all the stuff we always talk about, it just feels like it's more and more and more important. And so I'm glad we're here. I'm glad you're on this journey with me. I'm glad all of you come and hang out with us. So welcome.
I was thinking a lot recently about 2008 and the creative world. And I feel like 2008 was a big year that digital photography went from analog to digital. Like if you hadn't hit the switch by 2008 with the recession and people getting laid off and what we needed more efficiency, like that was the push. I think a lot of people went digital. And I feel like 2025 with the contraction and the recession that's coming, I feel like this is going to be the thing that pushes the world into AI for better or for worse. But I could see how, a year from now, AI will be doing a lot of our work with us.
And it's a strange, there's a strange shift. I'll talk about this in a bit, but there's a strange shift from the stuff that is easy today is just going to be all AI.
Yeah.
It's hard today is going to be easy. And the stuff that seems like it's impossible today is going to be hard but doable. And it's like, we all have to level up.
Right.
Right?
I'm thinking about Lovable. Like Lovable's here tonight.
Yeah.
And thinking about what Lovable makes possible, right?
Yeah.
Like think for a second, like how easy it is to make an app, to make a site, how quickly and easy you can do it.
Yep.
And you couldn't do that 6 months ago. Well, couldn't do it a year ago, right? And that happened like that. So
Yeah. I know. Well, I was saying to Talisha earlier, I finally, Lovable 2.0 finally made an asteroids clone that didn't suck. And it did it on the first shot. And like, I remember in 1979 or whenever that game came out, playing it in the arcade, like, how do these wizards make this game? And then, I just asked for it and it made it. It's just amazing. Anyway, welcome everybody. This is the AI Salon, and a lot of you we've seen before, but there's some new faces as well. And tonight is the first Tuesday of the month, so it's our AI Salon Presents meeting, and we'll hear from Lovable in a bit. The little dash profile, that little code there you see on screen, that's our Mid-Journey mood board. So if you want to create images that are in AI Salon graphic style, you can do that. I'm super excited about that. And Leah and I started the salon the week after ChatGPT came out in 2022. It still blows my mind that we're this far removed from it. But with the basic idea that we wanted to get people together who were curious about AI and were ready to explore it and things like that. And what that's evolved into is this kind of philosophy of the AI salon. We call it the cycle of AI readiness. And it starts with play first, and then mindfully create is in playing, you'll learn some things, and then you can go build some things. And then generously lead is about share what you're learning. And that last piece is, I think, for me, what sets the salon apart, that we've got a community of people that are incredibly generous and are willing to share what they're learning. And because things are changing so fast, I personally don't think that there's a way to keep up with AI at all. unless you're with a bunch of other people kind of doing the same thing and having that generosity, because you'll learn from someone who just has a completely different worldview for you. So so with that, Leah, what are your thoughts on where we are these days and what the Salon's all about?
I mean, I see the Salon as like a refuge in a sense, but also somewhere to come and be inspired. I think that when I think about why I've grown so much with AI, it's because of the Salon, right? What I know about AI, I've learned mostly from the Salon and from the people in the Salon. And I find it to be a community where when I have a question, I come and I post a question, someone answers it, right? Someone knows the answer. And if they don't, they know where to find out. And the connections and relationships I've made because of the Salon, right?
Yeah.
Help fuel all kinds of things. So I find that I feel like we've been doing this for 2.5 years, but we are really only at the beginning of what's possible with the community and where things can go. And what I appreciate is that I think we're sort of in the same place with AI, right? It's still where's this going? Yeah. And where's it going in the next year? Where's it going in the next 2 years? It is bonkers out there. Bonkers.
Yeah.
So for me, having the Salon as kind of an anchor and a place to come and to say, okay, this is our place. And it's here all the time. Like if I get busy shooting and I can't drop in, that's okay. And then if I can be here all day. And there's always stuff happening here. So that's how I'm feeling right now. And about AI in general, I'm feeling very terrified about the world in general, not just AI.
I've got a little achy anxiety too.
Right.
I'm right there with you. But so let's talk about our values. So
okay.
I agree. Quite know where AI is going. We don't quite know where the world's going. We don't quite know where this community is going. But the reason we articulated our values was because we knew that as we grew and as things changed, there were some ways that people act in the Salon that we want to retain, right?
Gotcha.
And we want to encourage. And so if you'd be so kind, you're so good at this.
Well, and I also want to say too, I think our Salon is about AI because that's what it is, but it's also our Salon that you and I started, two people who have long, extensive creative careers and all kinds of aspects of creating work and doing creative work. And so what I also hope is that the Salon is also our Salon, right? In our vision and our ideas. And I think that the values are something we've both learned over time. And the Salon community really created those values. We created the values after the Salon had already been going for a while. And we started to realize what was important to people here. So let's read those out loud. Hold on, I'm on my laptop, which is not very much screen space. So I need to move this. Okay, curiosity. The Salon started, Kyle, because you and I had a conversation because we were curious about using Stable Diffusion, right? That was originally, I thought I was going to say, how do you do this? You were going to tell me, and that was going to be that. And
Exactly.
An hour and a half later, we said, let's start a Salon. So here it is. And it started because of curiosity, right? Yeah. Curiosity. We're eager to ask the obvious questions, learn new things, and experiment. Our relentless quest for adventure and exploration ignites our inner spark, transforming our curiosity into unexpected discoveries and newfound passions.
Yeah, more and more and more. This is the attribute. This is the thing that I think is the most important thing. I really do. It's just be curious, and it will lead you in fascinating directions. In an era like this.
Stay curious.
Yep.
Playfulness. We value creativity, joy, and the freedom to experiment. We play first and transform learning into a captivating journey. We collaborate and mindfully create together when we can, to learn more, to make friends, and develop new circles of trust. Remember, all work and no play is how we did things before the Salon.
Right.
Playfulness. I debate that last line because I actually think both you and I have been playing in our careers since the beginning. That's how I launched my photography brand. That's how you've been as successful as you are. So play, and I think play really helps with generative AI because tools come out every day. There's a new tool every day, and the thing I'm thinking about, like Lovable. I can now just play. I have an idea. I play with Lovable and I can make it happen. And that feels really playful versus needing to learn code or needing to learn Python or needing to learn whatever to make something happen. I can just play. And I think AI at its best really allows for that.
I think so. The reason I still like the last line is I think that because AI is going to impact jobs and people feel like I've got to learn AI.
Yeah.
I think there's this sort of instinct to take it way too seriously because it's got these profound implications. And it's really hard to learn when you're in that sort of head down, must learn kind of place.
Well said. Well said. Empathy. We are respectful, inclusive, and kind. We value diverse perspectives, recognizing that our differences make us stronger. We accept that people might be afraid and angry, and we work to understand them. We actively practice gratitude and acknowledge the efforts and successes of those around us. Humans matter. And yes, humans, not only do humans matter, but I think what is going to become even more valuable and even more important as more and more things become automated with AI is what makes us very human, is our own empathy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Important value. Bravery. We have the courage to step into the unknown, taking bold actions in the face of fear and challenging ourselves to push the boundaries of what we thought possible. Let's face it, with everything changing as fast as it is, we are all making this up as we go along anyway, so we might as well be brave about it.
Jump in.
Jump in.
It ain't going anywhere.
I'm so terrified. Here we go.
Exactly.
Generosity. We are willing to share our resources, feedback, and wisdom with others and support each other's growth and development. There's so much happening and so much to learn. We can't possibly keep up with it all. Understand that even if something is obvious to you, it might be a profound revelation to someone else. Learn out loud, share what you know, generously lead.
Yeah, and with that, so where I'm looking at all this on the AI Salon. This is on our community website. It's in sort of step number 3 here of kind of the onboarding, start your adventure, learn our values. If you've never been to Mighty Networks before, go there. It's it's aisalon.mn.co. And maybe if someone could put that in the chat, that would be great if there's new folks here. Nice little onboarding. If you haven't introduced yourself yet to the community, I strongly encourage you to do that. In the community corner, there's lots of things about the community. There's going to be something new there today, which we'll talk about in a second. We got a big announcement today. There's a news area. There's a mastery workshop, which is where you can talk about tools and projects and collaborations and show off the work that you've done. And then there's my favorite part of the community, clubs and hubs. And this is sort of exemplifies generosity, where people in the community sort of step into leadership positions and share what they're up to and teach and build, tighter knit communities, little masterminds, if you will. So with that, if you are a club or hub leader, just raise your hand and give the fine people an update on what's going on with your club or your hub. Tell people what's happening. Who's got their hand up? Claire Jacobs.
Kyle, can you unshare your screen?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, thanks.
That would be I. Hi, Claire Jacobs of the, oh my God, I can't even remember what we're called. AI Life Hacks with Brandon and Claire. And we have our meetings always the evening, the following the AI Salons meeting. So not tonight, but tomorrow night. And come join us. Lots of really cool information gets shared. Lots of really cool, all the cool kids come.
Yeah.
So come join us and learn how to hack your way through life using AI in ways that maybe you hadn't thought of, or come and share the things that you've discovered that might be of help to others.
I think one of the things that I like best about your club and your and Brandon's club is a lot of times people think that the thing that they've learned in AI is really small and not important to someone else. And then when they share it, invariably someone's like, oh my God, I never would have thought of that. And so I think your club exemplifies that. So thank you. Cindy Kuhn.
Hello, all. So I have the AI Prototyping Club, and put my hand down. And we just wrapped a 4-week sprint that was on using AI to help publish. And that was fun. And it was all recorded, and all the decks and all the goodies are still available. So all the sprints we run if you go in, if you're interested in running things, and what that means is for 4 weeks, we just give ourselves a 4-week deadline and see what we can make
See
happen.
what we can build.
See what we can build in 4 weeks, and time's up.
Yes.
So,
Well, and sometimes it's remarkable and sometimes it's nothing, but it's always incredible.
that's right. And sometimes it's just, I'll tell you, our claim to fame in AI Prototyping Club is we had 2 human beings meet each other who had never met before, who started a company that is a full functioning, awesome AI bot company. And that grew out of relationship building in the AI Prototyping Club. So
Yeah.
that's where the other cool kids hang out. And we are Monday afternoons, 2 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. We are, I'm echoing. What's happening?
It might be me.
That's probably you, Kyle, causing the problems. So we just wrapped a sprint, FYI. Next week, if you're just curious, I encourage you to come because we're just going to hang out next week. And then we're going to take the following 2 weeks off because there's a holiday and I have to travel. And then we're going to kick back in with a prototyping merch effort for 4 weeks of June.
Ooh, that's a good one.
There's been a request, so I'm meeting the demand.
I like it. I would also encourage you, if you're on the call, if you're new to this group, if you're new to AI and you think like, oh, prototyping is intimidating, they must be scientists. No, we're just zany people. I mean, there's some smart folk in there like Cindy, but just even if you're totally clueless about AI, join it and just you'll have a blast.
Yeah, and just hang out and meet people because here's the thing. We just went through a 4-week sprint on publishing. Ask me, did any of the prototypers create something and publish it in 4 weeks? No, we did not. That was not the point. The point was to just learn the spaces, have it in your head so that that project you're thinking about over the summer, maybe you actually can do it because now you know all the steps and you can do it in your own way. That was the point of it, not to pressure anybody. So that's what we're up to. We're not pressuring anybody to do anything in 4 weeks. It's more like just learning together and people, Cindy uses fancy words.
I don't pressure anyone to finish in 4 weeks, but I do judge them if they don't. So
yeah,
that's important. All right. Thank you, Cindy. Vicki.
I don't know why I put my hand up right after Cindy, because nobody has met in my club and formed a business and published a book and all that kind of stuff. But there's still capacity to do it, right? So I, along with Joy Purdy, I run the ethics club. And I have really nothing to report except that our guest who was going to be presenting in April had a family emergency and was not able to present in April. So we will be having her back. Well, we're not having her back. She will be presenting in May if all goes. But come along to join the AI Ethics Club if you have any even inkling of an interest in ethics in AI, and we all should.
Beautiful. Love it. Gwen.
Hey there. So Kelly Camp runs the business club, and I and Cece are doing it alongside her. It's on Thursdays. We do a lot of conversation about businesses and problems that people are coming across, and we do a couple of demos. The smaller, lighthearted demos, I'll say at this point, but we do demos for that as well. So come and talk with us because we are interested in helping businesses.
Great. Now, no one's using AI in business, right? Because it's not allowed, right? So you just like talk about it. Thank you. Beautiful. All right. Anyone else? Vicky, your hand's still up.
I forgot to say something. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Someone had asked for the mood board reference
Oh.
from previously, and I cannot lay my hands on it. So I'm wondering if you can share that again. Plus, for the new people who've come in since.
Yes, exactly. Hang on. Do.
So would it be fair to say, like, stop doing your branding documents and do a mood board instead? Okay, here we go.
Well, so I think that this is one of the things I've gotten most excited about, because Leah and I were working on the mood board. We wrote a brand strategy, and then we were like, oh, we should do a mood board. And we had ChatGPT help us come up with some different mood boards. And then Leah curated them all, put them into Midjourney. And then we're like, well, let's make some images. And where my head immediately went was, okay, we'll make like the 20 images that people can use, right? Like you do a brand book. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Like, we've got a crowd that knows how to use Midjourney, right? Why don't we just give them the code? So I do feel like the future of brand books and branding in general could very well be co-creation with your customers or with your audience. And so this is just a baby step toward that, but I'm super excited about it. So yeah, if you don't know how to use mood boards in Midjourney, you just write a prompt. And then you type --P or --profile and that little code, S3PYM2F, and make sure your stylization is set between 50 and 1,000. There's a little slider. It has to be above 0. And then it will make images that kind of have a salonness about them that's based on the mood board that Leah designed.
And to say that, talk about branding, like, it is really exciting to think about what your own influences are and what you're excited about in your own brand, and then putting that together onto a mood board and then looking at how Midjourney translates it. Really cool. So if you own your own company, start thinking about what your visual influences are. And then once you have that code, you apply it to all of your 2D assets.
Yep. Yeah. And it's pretty slick. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back for a third time because of the Midjourney thing. So I did a presentation on mood boards in Midjourney, and I was feeling like I like to include everyone. So the people who do not have Midjourney, you can actually make a pseudo mood board by using projects in ChatGPT. So you put, images, sample images or whatever in your project and instructions in your instruction file, and you can create kind of a mood board. The poor man's Midjourney, I want to say.
Demo that for us. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
The other thing I'll share, it's similar to that one, is because Midjourney is not good at text. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll make base images in Midjourney, then bring those into ChatGPT and tell it to reimagine it with new words on it, and it'll do that pretty well too. So yeah, there you go. Okay, Leah, how are we doing time-wise? All right, we're doing pretty good. I want to talk just quickly about we've been on the road. You and I have been representing the salon. You did it in Connecticut. I did it
for AI Day.
Exactly. I did it in DC with Daisy Thomas. So why don't you just tell us like what you did and how?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I went to Connecticut AI Day, which was at UConn, their business campus in Hartford, and it was so refreshing and fantastic. The AI events I've been to, which have been in San Francisco and at MIT, are this AI world that is unbelievable and intense, and people who do AI full-time 100%, and they spend time with other people who do AI, and it's a very kind of an in-crowd thing, and I love it, but it's not quite fit in there. I mean, maybe if I worked in that
like world. These are folks that are like building the AI models, right?
That's right. And then I went to Connecticut AI Day, and it was people just like folks at the salon. I mean, this was folks who own companies and businesses, small business owners, artists, and they were all there learning about AI. And I met really interesting people who were sort of thinking about a lot of the same things we're thinking about at the salon and how to bring that to their company. It was really neat. Maybe there's some folks here tonight at our event if we were at the Hartford AI Days. I handed out a lot of cards and met a lot of people. So
that's great. Any like trends or any like where people were that stood out to you?
I think a lot of people were right where we are, right in the salon. They know they need to be using AI. When they start using it, it's like this aha moment, like, wow. And they're very practical about how to incorporate it into what they're doing with their companies or their workflows. And then a lot of people who just were like, I know I need to think about AI. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, what do I do?
A lot of people were talking about frameworks to learn AI, and I wanted there to be a little bit more hands-on because that's my nature. But otherwise, I thought it was a great event. That's some really interesting, great people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Daisy and I went to DC. The Salon hosted a fly-in. There was a big event for Google. It was a 50 company summit, and 9 of those companies were AI companies. And we kind of partnered with them and went out on the hill and talked to. We met with senators' offices and things like that. So I met with people from Senator Hickenlooper's office from Colorado here, Raphael Warnock from North Carolina, Amy Klobuchar from Minnesota, and Chris Van Holland, I think he's from Maryland. And couple of things. So I printed out an AI readiness primer, and it had our play first, mindfully create, generously lead thing, the cycle of AI readiness. And it had some positioning on how we think about policy. And then it had our stages of AI adoption, which is basically in the welcome section on the Salon. That document was a huge hit. There was something about when people saw play first as the top, and the other thing I articulated was, I said, it's really hard to be AI literate right now because things are changing so fast, but you can be ready for it. And what being ready for it looks like is curiosity and playfulness and just doing what you need to do to learn it. And so that was really well received. Like, people loved that. And then they loved this sort of stages of AI adoption because they basically self-selected where they were. Like, oh yeah, I'm still in denial, and or oh, I've had a Kevin McAllister moment. They loved Kevin McAllister moment, right? And the other thing that I would say was a theme in all of the offices, with the exception of Hickenlooper. His staffer was very well educated. He's an ex-Google guy. He understands technology. One of the points I made was, it seems clear to me that legislators are very clear on the risks of AI, but they're not nearly as clear on the opportunity, especially for entrepreneurs and small businesses and individuals. And like, one of the things we got was, oh, you're not here to yell at us, because I think people go to those offices a lot to just, bitch about what's not happening. And so that idea of them balancing legislating for the opportunity as much as to protect us from the risks, that was kind of new for some of them. And they were like, oh, that's a really good point. And we're not thinking about it like that. Like, we're only thinking about the negative. And so I thought it was very, very successful. And, it was really just a relationship building trip. But I think we did what we set out to do, which was nice.
It's awesome. So exciting.
Yeah, it's really good. Okay. I'm going to do a couple of news items that I think are worth talking about, and then we're going to dig in and make a big...
We have a very exciting news item to share too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So, a couple of things that I think are newsworthy. We were talking earlier about, humans matter, and do we even know if they're humans or not? If you go to world.org, this is a company that Sam Altman started, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. So it's an Altman-based company. They have this thing called World ID and World Coin. I've talked about this before. It disappeared from the United States for about 18 months, I think because of crypto laws, because they have both a blockchain identity system as well as a coin, a crypto coin. And you couldn't, in the US, you couldn't use their crypto coin. So they basically just disappeared. They just came back last week. And the proof of personhood is what they're calling it. The ability to do that is now available in 6 cities: Atlanta, Miami, Nashville, Austin, LA, and San Francisco. What this is basically a blockchain record that you are a human being, and that's it, that you're a human being. It doesn't, it's not tied to your name, your likeness, your sex, any of that sort of stuff. It's just they use biometric data from a scan in your eye. So you see those little orbs in the picture there. And then they basically put the mathematical hash into a database and compare you to all the other humans and say, does this person match any other humans here? And if not, then you're verified human. That verification then can be used to, say, create a system where you guarantee that who you're talking with is another human being. So they've partnered, for example, with Match to do a dating app that uses this. Sam Altman, I don't know, a month ago announced that they're going to be doing a social network that's going to compete with X. I strongly believe that it's going to be World ID enabled. So you can have a social network where there's no bots on it, basically. So anyway, something to just go to world.org and research it. It freaks some people out, but I think this is increasingly going to be important. For those of you, I know Cindy's a big LTX Studio fan. Anyone who's into LTX Studio, it's a movie making tool, like a sort of high-end storytelling tool. They just launched a new video model that looks pretty good, so worth checking out. And then, apropos of our speaker tonight, Talisha and Lovable, OpenAI completed the acquisition of Windsurf, which is a vibecoding company. They bought them for $3 billion. and Cursor AI raised $900 million on a $9 billion valuation. So vibe coding is incredibly valuable, and I think this is the future of coding. Is everyone's going to be able to code, and having systems that can do that easily and well, I think are going to be rewarded in this in what's coming. So anyway, those are some of the big things. So with that, we have an exciting announcement. Starting on June 1st, we're launching what we're going to call the AI Mastermind. And it is a subscription-based area within the community where people can dig deeper and, really lean in. And Leah, I'm super excited about this. I know you're super excited about this. Vicky and Brandon and Leah and I have spent the past, 6 or 8 weeks really thinking about what this is and what it's going to be. And so, Leah, why don't you talk to us a bit about why we're doing this and what it is, and then we'll sort of dig into the specifics.
So this is the AI Salon Mastermind. And Kyle, we started out as a conversation, right? And we said, hey, let's go online every other week, invite our friends, and we'll talk about AI. And then we started a Discord, and that grew and grew and grew and grew. And then we moved to Mighty Networks, and that grew and grew and grew and grew. I think we have 3,000 plus members now. And the level of expertise and knowledge that exists in this community is remarkable, right? Mm-hmm. We just have people from so many different sectors who know so many different things, and how AI brings us all together. And I think that as we start thinking about what's next, I'm looking for a way, I think we're all looking for a way that we can take where we are right now, which was beginners who advanced to where are we, and start to bring some formality to the mastery that we are all learning, and do it inside a community with great intention and great passion. So what the Mastermind is, it's a private space for committed members of the Salon with all kinds of things that already exist that also can start to scale. So it's the start of what's coming next. We'll have monthly founder hangouts, workshops, focus clubs, learning libraries, giving some formal structure to what already exists here and then growing it. For me, I'm part of many different groups online that are subscription-based that I learn all kinds of things from photography to Forex trading to Midjourney to Stable Diffusion, right? And all of these are memberships that I invest time and resources in, right? Mm-hmm. I pay for them and I get so much back from them. And because I'm investing in them, I'm showing up in a certain way as well, so that the community that I'm part of is sort of a naturally self-selecting, curated community. And I want that here.
Yeah. Well, let me also pop in. as we were talking about this, we were trying to figure out what do we call it, and what is it. And at one point, Vicky brought up, she goes, oh, we were talking about the clubs and what they are. And she's like, oh, well, it's like a mastermind, and people love being a part of a mastermind. And what struck me when she said that is what's naturally happened in the salon is that these clubs and hubs where people have stepped up and said, hey, I'm passionate about this, I'm passionate about that they become these trusted communities within the community. And the idea here, like the minute she said that, it was like, that's it. like especially for people who've been doing this for a while, or people that really want to step up, like really stepping up and saying, yeah, like let's really do this. So that for me is what excites me most about the salon in general, is that all of the stuff that we've done, whether it's the AI readiness cycle or our values, have basically been born out of how people are already behaving. And so this is really just an extension of that. And we really are getting to the point where there's a lot of people within the salon that do have a deep level of mastery. And so why not really step into that and step into leadership positions and formalize some of the teaching and education and community building. And so that's some of the why behind this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that I think for me, what I'm really excited about most about this community is the trust and the trusted community that we've built within it.
Yep.
And I think that, one of the things that's happened a lot behind the scenes, and I don't think members see, is how many people come into the salon that we can't actually trust. Spammers, people selling things, people jumping on. I mean, we have, it's bonkers.
I think this is the bane of Vicky's existence. It's just
right. And so my hope is that by putting some obstacles in place for them, and by creating a sort of gatekeeping around that, we can also start to really make sure that the community is a safe place, and is a trust, that the people you're meeting are trusted, right? And are people you can trust and you can believe in, and you can grow with and deepen your mastery.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. The trust thing for me is huge, because again, it's like, we want people to be, generous and open, but if you're in a community of 3,000 where you don't know where a lot of them are or who a lot of those people are, you might be a little reticent to do that. In more trusted groups, it's going to be a lot easier to do that.
That's right. And we're growing. I mean, how do we scale this, and how do we do it responsibly? And how do we make sure that people's experiences continue to grow and expand and become richer and just a better experience all around? And so this is an opportunity for us to intentionally show up and take action on that and build something that serves us all.
Beautiful. So let me sort of walk you through specifically, what the mastermind is, what it is made of. So basically, it's a subscription-based, highly engaged, focused community. You'll have private membership access to clubs and hubs, the mastery workshop, and then content and learning libraries. So a lot of the stuff that is available now to everyone is going to go behind a private membership. And then, how that evolves is up to the leaders and anyone who joins it, right? Both Leah and I are thinking about this not as an endpoint, but absolutely as a beginning. Like, this is a new way of thinking about the salon and how all of us can level up, professionally and personally, and really take these spaces within the community and amplify them and make them better, and have access to those resources. If you join in 2025, you will get a founding mastermind badge within the community, and recognition and kudos and all sorts of celebrations. You'll have early access to new events, features, and initiatives. And again, we're going to be looking to this community to figure out what this community wants and needs. And by doing this as a subscription-based area, we'll have the resources to really do that. And so that's really exciting to me. And we're going to have, we're trying to do this at a price that is like stupid simple and easy for everyone. And so we're going to do special pricing through 2025. And it's $19.99 a month. It's $20 a month for access to all this stuff. So that's basically what it is. It starts June 1st. So if you're a community, a club leader or a hub leader, we'll be talking to you. I think an email is going out during this meeting to all the club leaders, and we'll be talking to you about what this means and how we get there, and what we want your input as well. So we're having a meeting, I think next week or the week after, for club leaders to talk about what we want that to be. And then this program will officially kick off on June 1st. And Vicky is posting an FAQ in the community corner in the Mighty Networks section right now. And in that FAQ is a link to a form. If you're interested in joining in June, just let us know so we can gauge interest. So Vicky, any other logistics I missed?
If you pay the founding member price, that will be your price forever. And it will go up at the beginning of next year. There was something else I just thought of, but then I switched to going to post the FAQ page and it went out of my head.
Okay.
We'll also answer.
The club leaders meeting is like at the normal club leaders meeting time next week. So
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Terrific. So yeah, if you're a club leader, make sure you come to that meeting, because we're going to be talking about this and what it means for club leaders as well.
And then we'll also have a community at our community meet in 2 weeks. Will be an opportunity to ask questions. You can look through the FAQ, see what questions you have, ideas you have, and that will be an opportunity to really ask questions about everything, and go from there.
Yeah, terrific. So with that, does anyone have any questions? All right, groovy. Well, that was easy. So yeah, I'm super excited about it, Leah. I'm really excited to be able to. I kind of feel like, you know, we've got some people who have naturally leveled up, and within the salon, there's not necessarily a place for them to level up officially and have tracks for that, and so I think that's what this represents.
Absolutely. I mean, I think trusted communities are so important, and we have so many good people here that having a space that is trusted and sort of curated, and, you know, it's just, the value is, I think it's going to serve all of us in remarkable ways.
Yep. Beautiful. Okay, cool. I want to
jump. Can I just add one more thing? We are going to have scholarship programs available. So I made a joke because Greg commented, haha, pay rent or join the salon. And I want to say that, yes, that I made a joke about $19.99 a month rent. If you do have that, please let me know where you live. But this is, you know, I don't want anyone to feel like they can't be part of the salon who wants to be part of the salon. Right. And so know that there will be opportunities for scholarships, and we want to make it possible for everyone to join. This isn't about this isn't excluding folks, right? We want this to be an opportunity to be more inclusive, and in a way we can then take those resources and grow the salon even more. So please know that. And please know that there will be opportunities for scholarships and volunteering and all kinds of things like that. So
well, and the core salon
but it'll be there.
The core salon community remains free, right? So all of the sort of the bulk of the area where people come in and interact and just chat and learn news and all that stuff's still out there. The politics hub is going to live outside. That'll be free as well. This is really more for people, you know, wanting to level up.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, quite frankly, like working with a group of people who have made a commitment, like it's just a different thing.
It's a different thing.
It's just a different thing. Like,
different way of showing up, different way of being. Absolutely.
And that's, you know, you've talked about that a lot, Leah, that there's, especially with AI, where generating stuff is so easy that just kind of vomiting out crap is crap, right? But like really doing things with intentionality and leveling up your game is important. And I want to read, before we bring Talisha up, the CEO of Fiverr today shared an email that he sent to his staff. And he basically said, this is probably going to be leaked, so I'm just going to leak it myself. But I want to read it because I think it's a massive call to action. And you'll see in the letter, he talks about this idea that what's easy today is going to be AI, what's hard today is going to be easy, and then what seems impossible today is the stuff where you really dig in. And that's what I think the mastermind starts to become, is where people who are, yeah, you know what, I'm going to step in and level up. Like, that's who we want in there.
And I mean, as what's about to happen in our economy is terrifying, right? And what's about to happen to work is going to completely shift and change in the next year or two. Completely shift and change. We have no idea how, right? And I want a place to go that I can show up and all kinds of really exciting things are happening, right?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I feel like the world around me is shifting and changing what's going on, I want a place I can come with a trusted group of creators and leaders and curious folks, adventurers, and we can say, okay, that's happening out there, but this is what we're creating in here. That's what we're building.
Yep.
We've already built, and now we just want to expand it.
Yeah,
Better bring more attention to it.
exactly. All right. So let me jump over. This is it. So Mika Kaufman, he's the CEO of Fiverr, right? The freelancer thing. Hey team, I've always believed in radical candor and despise those who sugarcoat reality to avoid stating the unpleasant truth. The very basis for radical candor is care. You care enough about your friends and colleagues to tell them the truth, because you want them to be able to understand it, grow, and succeed. So here is the unpleasant truth. AI is coming for your jobs. Heck, it's coming for my job too. This is a wake-up call. It does not matter if you're a programmer, designer, product manager, data scientist, lawyer, customer support rep, salesperson, or finance person. AI is coming for you. You must understand that what was once considered easy tasks will no longer exist. What was considered hard tasks will be the new easy, and what was considered impossible tasks will be the new hard. If you do not become an exceptional talent at what you do, a master, you will face the need for career change in a matter of months. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not talking about your job at Fiverr. I'm talking about your ability to stay in a profession in the industry. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want to read a little bit more. Are we all doomed? Not all of us, but those who will not wake up and understand the new reality fast are unfortunately doomed. What can we do? First, take a moment and let it sink in. Drink a glass of water, scream hard in front of a mirror if that helps. Now relax. Panic hasn't solved problems before. Let's talk about what would help you become an exceptional talent in your field. 1, study, research, and master the latest AI solutions in your field. Try multiple solutions and figure out which one gives you superpowers. By superpowers, I mean the ability to generate more outcomes per unit of time with better quality per delivery. Programmers, code, cursor, or lovable, customer support tickets, intercom. So he gives some examples there. Find the most knowledgeable people on the team who can help you become more familiar with the latest and greatest in AI. That's the AI Salon, right? Find the most knowledgeable people you know. The most knowledgeable people I know in generative AI are in the Salon, like by far. Time is the most valuable asset we have. If you're working like it's 2024, you're doing it wrong. You're expected and needed to do more, faster, and more efficiently now. And he goes on. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is the first, we saw from a couple of other CEOs in the past couple of weeks, similar sort of things, that AI is going to be a core talent. This is the first CEO that's basically saying, this is coming, it's coming fast, and if you don't deal with it, it's going to not be good, right? And so this is why we started the Salon ultimately, is that, we knew we wanted to figure out what these new tools were, but we also have been talking for 2.5 years about the future of work and the implications of this stuff. And again, 2025 is the year where these things are accelerating. So, we're starting to see people call it like it is. And if you know anyone who's not in the Salon that should be, you should get them over here. So with that, any thoughts on that, Leah?
When we first met in our first conversation, we were talking about the 90s
Mhm.
and the shift from analog to digital,
Mhm.
right? And in all kinds of areas, and how that changed the world, right? Everybody was talking about like, oh, it's just the internet, or it's just computers, and no, it changed the world, and how this is going to change the world too. And this feels different though, because we don't actually know how it's going to change the world, but it is, and I think that we're starting to see that. And I'm very happy that we exist as a salon. I'm very happy we are involved in lobbying and in politics and getting the voices heard of our salon. And I'm very happy we have a place that we can all come, because I think we're in it. And this is just the beginning, right?
We're in it. And you said it earlier, like, you don't know where the salon is going to evolve to, but like, all I know is I'm glad we're on the ride together, Frank.
Yeah,
You know,
that's right. And I think I'm glad we're all here together.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm glad that as this is happening, we have a place to go. We have a place to like talk about this and to share work and to figure out how to thrive in the context of it. Right. The world is going to be saying. I mean, I spend time with photographers now, and I can't I have the AI salon. It's like you can't even talk about AI with photographers, right? Because it is so like. So much of the conversation around AI is how are we going to, we're going to fail. This is going to be terrible. It's a tragedy, right? Okay. Yes, that could happen, but I don't want that to happen. I want to thrive. I want every single person in the salon to thrive and to succeed. And the only way we're going to figure out that is if we're together and we're going through it together. So
yeah, and he said it in that email. He said, learn AI enough so that you have superpowers, because I promise you, if you take what you learn in the salon and show it to people who have not been playing with AIs, you will look like a wizard to them. It will be like you have superpowers. And like, that is going to be an advantage for some amount of years until this thing shakes out, right? So that's why we're here. And speaking of superpowers, I think we should bring Talisha up. Talisha, are you ready?
I cannot wait.
I'm ready.
Oh, that's so good. So, Talisha White, welcome.
Welcome.
So first of all, like many thanks in advance. You're like at an event, like you're like at a Stripe conference. There's a Figma thing across the street, and you still made time to be here with us. So thank you so much. I'm going to just turn the floor over to you, and tell us about Lovable. I think you have an audience here that mostly knows what Lovable is. Some are like power users and love Lovable. So I think you're preaching to a crowd that likes what you have to say. But take it away and just tell us what we should know.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a great community, and I'm so glad that y'all found each other here, because it really seems like a very close-knit family and community, which I love. And I love that y'all are so inclusive. I am all about the inclusivity. We're in a new era where anyone can build, and those traditional kind of hurdles people face, they're just disappearing by the minute now. So I really love that. So my name is Talisha White. I lead community over at Lovable, which means I just get to hang out with cool folks like you all. So I'm going to go through building an MVP. And if you don't know what an MVP is, it just means minimum viable product. And it's basically the smallest thing you can do that adds value to your users that you're trying to sell to. And Lovable is really great at doing that. So an MVP or a prototype, I know y'all were talking about prototyping earlier, kind of along the same lines there. And Lovable's really great at doing it. So a little housekeeping. I love answering questions. So please, if you don't understand something, or you want clarification, or you're just curious, please ask me the questions. I would like to answer them for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Can I just jump in real quick? Would you like us to interrupt? And generally we raise hands when we have a question. So would you like, while you're talking, for people to raise their hand and ask the question? Would you like questions asked in the chat, or should people hold questions until you're done talking?
So definitely don't hold them until I'm done talking, because I'll forget.
Okay.
But I think you could just interrupt me.
Let's do raised hands. So
Okay, that's right.
I can keep an eye on the queue, and if we see raised hands, we found interrupting gets a little complicated. So raise your hand if you have a question for Talisha while she's presenting, and when there's then I can jump in and bring you on. Does that sound like a
Okay,
plan?
that works.
Okay, great.
Awesome, cool. So today we're gonna build something random. Always build something random, unless you have an idea for something to build.
Oh, let's see. Does anyone have any ideas that they want to drop into the chat to build something? Let's see. What do we have? Anyone?
Anyone?
Everyone, don't jump in on your idea too fast. Okay. Okay, I have an idea. I'll do my idea.
Cool.
Let's do something that helps me put makeup on before, like I can put makeup on my video face before I go live at the salon.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So typically before I start a project, I will go to another AI like a Chat GPT, a Claude, a Grok, whatever floats your boat, and kind of think through the process of what I want to build, what features I want to add, etc. You want to make sure that you plan before you start building, right? You wouldn't build a house and just go buy some wood and some hammers and think that you're going to have a house in a few hours. It doesn't work like that. You have to make a plan, have a strategy. For this, though, we're going to keep it really simple. And I'm going to give it a very simple prompt. For your first prompt, a lot of people ask, oh, do I need a detailed mega prompt? Do I have to have all of the things? No, you don't have to. You can start with something very short, sweet, and simple. And especially as you're prompting and iterating, building your project, keeping things short and concise to one feature, maybe two, is really the best way to work with it. And then keeping your larger plan of what you want to do, you can add that to your knowledge, which I will show you a little later. Or you can have it, I like to have it on like a Google Doc or something that I can just go back and reference and add notes to as I build. Okay, so for this prompt, something super simple. I want to have I think it's VR. VR makeup try on web app where I can try on different makeup styles. So something super duper easy. If it makes like actual makeup on me, I'm gonna be in shock to be quite honest. But with AI, you really never know. Like it gets better by the day. So I send my prompt, and then of course it will start working, doing its magic. Now, if you haven't seen this page before, the project page, there's a couple little things I want to point out. The first one is this button down here. A lot of times I think this is for adding images, but it's not. It's a shortcuts menu to go to GitHub, your history, knowledge, project settings, and Superbase. So knowledge is what I was talking about earlier. It's a great place to put your plan. I always make it talk like a pirate. I don't know why. It's fun. But you can tell the AI to remember things, do certain things, etc. And so the knowledge right here is a great place to do that. You can also get to it in the top left corner, clicking the drop down and going to settings. So you can also get to knowledge that way. If I click on this, I can actually see the AI writing its code. And this takes a little while, which is why like right now is the best time to ask a question because it's going to take a little bit and I don't have anything else. I don't know what to do while AI does all my work for me.
All right, let's see if there's any questions. Does anyone have any questions while we are waiting? Okay, Liz. Liz has a question.
Hey, so I'm so excited about this. Thank you so much for being here. I have not used Lovable. I have used other workflows where either Claude or ChatGPT writes code, or I've worked with Manus a little bit as well. And I'm just curious, once you have the code, and sorry if you're going to get to this, but can I deploy it to a GitHub repository?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely, you can. And I am going to get to that in more detail. I will tell you that you can sync your project to GitHub by clicking. There's actually a lot of places you can click the GitHub button, but you can sync it to GitHub if you want to take it out to like a cursor, or you want to download it, you want to turn it over to a development agency, what have you. You will completely own your code. And then also, you don't even have to do that. You could click the publish button and it will publish your project for you. You don't have to deal with the code or deployments or anything of that matter. You literally just push the button and it's done for you, which is great. All right, so
In fact,
we got,
if
go
you
ahead
sorry,
now.
just to jump in quick. If you go to the AI Salon and go to the news page, the AI Salon News-O-Matic is a Lovable app. It's the first app that I wrote in Lovable, and it's published there. So it's living on Lovable's Lovable site. So sorry to interrupt, but I just
no,
wanted
go
to point
ahead.
people
Yeah.
to a real life version of that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay. So you're welcome. So we have our first little version here. Oh, okay. So it captures something and you can download it. I see there's different looks.
So cool.
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
so cool.
Wow.
Right? All right. So I do want to point out a couple of other things that I always like to share because people often don't even know they exist. So I always like to share it. So number one, top left corner, you can see your credits that you have used. And also if you go to your settings here, this is where you have your project settings, right? So you can make your project private. That means the chat is hidden and no one else can remix it. Remixing is just like copying your project, right? So remixing is great for, especially if you've made something and you kind of like where it is, but you want to try some different things. You can remix your own project so you have a different copy of it and not mess up your original one. You can hide the Edit with Lovable badge, but you must be a paid subscriber for that. You can rename your project, again, with the remix, delete, and then you can transfer your project to a different workspace because we have different workspaces for different things. Also, in your settings here, again, this is where you add the knowledge. So I'm not going to make it talk like a pirate today, but I can tell it to talk like a pirate. If I did that Chat GPT or Claude plan ahead of time, I could just copy and paste it there. And then it will follow kind of like, okay, I want to do this, that, and this. And it will keep referencing that as the AI works. And then we have two integrations. The first one is Supabase. So Supabase is a database. It basically just lets you store data and have backend functionality. Like if you want to add ChatGPT to your app, if you want to have a blog and you want to always have the same blog post, you can use Supabase for that. If you want to integrate with Stripe, you use Supabase and something called an edge function. And the great thing about our integration with Supabase, which I'll show you a little later, is that you literally can just tell it, I want this thing. Like you don't have to be technical. You don't need to be super detailed, especially when you're just learning and trying it out. You can just say, I would like my user to log in, and boom, it'll do it for you, which I will show you. And then GitHub is what I was talking about earlier, that you can transfer your project. So you'll just click here and click this and you'll have your GitHub link, and I can show you that. It just takes a second. And then as you can see, now I'm on GitHub, and if I want to clone or copy this to my local environment, I just click this button and follow the instructions. So it's super easy there. I also want to show this is where your history is. As you're doing things, you can also bookmark it. So if you have a bunch of different edits in your chat and you want to save one, like, oh, I really like how this one is, you can click the little bookmark and come back to that later, which I think is a really cool feature. You can hide this if you want. And you can also toggle to what is this called? Mobile view. Oh my gosh. Brain fart there. It can toggle to mobile view. Okay. So next we're gonna move on, and I want to actually like see myself in the video. But I don't actually know how that would work. So a great way, if you want to do something and you don't know how it will work, or you're like, how do I do this? Is to click on the chat mode. So chat mode lets you chat with the AI without making any code edits. So for something like this, I could say, I want to be able to see my video for the virtual try-on, and then apply the different makeup looks in real time. How would I do that?
Yeah, one
All right,
Vicky has a raised hand.
yes, go ahead, Vicky.
Vicky, turn your mic on, please.
You can't read my lips. I'm sorry. When you're using chat, does that use a credit for each chat, or is that not using credits?
Yeah, so when you use chat mode, it does use a credit, but it's a credit that's absolutely worth it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, of course, no problem. So as you can see, when I implemented the chat mode, turned it on, it turned blue. It's reading through my code, and it's thinking through, okay, how would I answer her question best? And it's giving me, okay, this is how it currently works. This is how you can use it in the future. This is how the technology works. Like, as you can see, it's really, really detailed. And then at the end, there's this implement the plan button, which I can just click, and then it's just going to do everything it just said. Okay, I see Goddess has a question. You can unmute and go ahead and ask.
Hello, yes. I was just curious about, publishing. Now, clearly there's a whole process to get it in the App Store, like the Apple App Store. So, pardon me, I need to drink some water. Does Lovable give you an app that's really close to being able to work through and getting it like published out there? But sometimes like the difference between having an app and then having a production app out there are two different things.
Yeah, so I will say that Lovable only does web-based apps,
Okay.
not mobile apps. So you wouldn't be able to publish a Lovable app to like the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. So basically, you can only do like advanced websites. I think that's the best way to think about it.
No, that's a great
And
think about it. I gotcha. Yeah, and none of that overhead. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Kelly, did you have a question? I think I saw it come up. Okay.
Yes.
Hey.
Hi, Talisha. Thank you for being here. So
Of
I've
course.
built several amazing apps with Lovable, but I've seen this consistently happen to me, and I don't know if it's me doing something wrong or not prompting it correctly, but I'll build, for example, a spreadsheet with names and addresses and phone numbers, all that database. And it's working great, and then I sign out of it and come back in and my data's gone. How do I get it to retain my data? And this has happened with more than just one app.
That's interesting. So you connected Superbase though, correct?
I did in a couple of them. A couple of them I did not. So does it have to be in Superbase for it to remember?
Yeah. So for it to retain the data, you definitely have to connect it to Superbase. And the easiest way to do it is actually at the end. So you designed your entire front end, you designed the different flows, like, okay, when I do this form, I want X, Y, and Z to happen. And then at the end, you click the connect Superbase button, it'll connect it for you. And then you can go back and say, okay, I want to add this data to my database, to my Superbase. And if you're unsure of like how to do it, that's where the chat mode comes in. You can literally just say, how do I add this data to my database so that it persists over time? Like literally just how you asked me, you can ask that to chat mode, and then it will tell you how to do it. And you can push that implement the plan button, and it'll do it for you, which I think is really cool. Chat mode is definitely underutilized by a lot of people.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think I just wasn't understanding the role of Superbase properly. So now that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I think you kind of bring up an interesting point. I think a lot of people don't like Superbase is very like tech nerdy, right? It's very engineering. And I don't think a lot of people get what it is. But it's basically like your content management system, right? I know a lot of people have probably worked with a CMS before, where, okay, I have a blog post, I have some images, and they're stored here, or they're inside of a Google Sheet somewhere. And I think that's probably like the easiest way to think of it. It's like your Google Sheet, your Excel, your Airtable. It's a place for your images to live, your blog posts, your forum data, etc. Okay, so before I answer your question, Brandon, I want to do this debugging real quick because this looks really scary, right? It's like, oh God, I broke it. Oh no, but you did not. It is not broken. So when this happens, keep calm, don't panic. There's this nifty little button down here called try to fix. And the great thing about this nifty little button, it is absolutely free to press. Okay, so don't be afraid to press that button there. And the AI, like Lovable, will try to fix its own mistake. So it usually fixes it the first time. If it doesn't, I will show you how to further debug. Okay, and then I think Brandon had a question for me.
Yeah, so two-part question. Thanks for being here. I love Lovable. I've built a few things on it. And two-part question. One is I've heard some folks on TikTok talking about vibe coding in general and how you have to be careful with things like API keys and different things like that, because when people are remixing code or hacking into not necessarily Lovable, but hacking into vibe coding projects, and they're able to get your OpenAI keys. So I'm curious if Lovable by default has a secure methodology for storing those things inside a Superbase or inside a GitHub someplace where, or should I be taking extra steps to protect that information? And then you just saw an example of something that errored out. Do you offer, have you considered offering any kind of enhanced troubleshooting, like a paid tier where you can bring a human into the loop and escalate something where if the Lovable chat keeps erroring or keeps cycling and you really can't get it past the point where you can fix it using the code, is there, what then?
Yeah, so to answer your first question about security in vibe coding apps, that is definitely a big topic and a big question. So number one, never, ever, 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 ever put your API keys inside of the chat. That is usually how people get API keys, because they've been chatting with the AI like in any coding tool. Like this isn't specific to Lovable, but they've been chatting with some AI, and some AI is like, oh, you need your Stripe API key, and you're like, oh, this one, and you paste it in the chat. Never do that, okay? Because now it's just out there in the public for everybody to see. So never put it inside of the chat ever. Also, you shouldn't paste it inside of this like preview area. Sometimes it will have like a little thing here, like it will say, oh, insert your API key. You shouldn't do that either. And if the AI like creates one of those for you, you should say, no, we want to use a secure method of calling my API key. And then it will go, oh, you're right, we should be secure. And so the best way to keep your API keys secure and make sure that your project is secure is definitely to use Superbase. So Superbase has a secret manager, and your secret manager keeps those API keys secure and obfuscated so that you can't just look at them with the naked eye. And the great thing about it is Lovable will come up with like a pop-up modal that you can securely put your API key in and it'll send it over the Superbase. And another really cool thing is I'm not connected to Superbase, so you can't say it now. But if I was connected to Superbase, then you would be able to see like security issues here, which I'll show you in a minute. And it'll show like if there's any potential issues inside of your Superbase. Like something you'll see over and over again is something called row level security in Superbase. And that's just a fancy way of saying who can see the data in a specific row. And you want to make sure that when you go into production, that is disabled. You don't want anybody to be able to see all of your data bits. And with our new kind of security scanner, it will show you like, hey, this is not secure. And you can click in, go to Superbase and fix it, which is really great. And then I forgot the second question, just that fast.
No worries. Thank you for that. And I was worried about that pop-up for a second, but I'm glad that that's the secure method. So I've got one project that it's a fairly technical project, and I've got Lovable in kind of a doom loop where it's keeps erroring out and then it tries to fix one part and 3 more parts break. And it definitely goes to the fact that developers still have a job for complex projects. But I'm curious if Lovable has ever thought about implementing a page structure where it's a human in the loop or an escalation to an somebody who actually has the capability to look at code and bring that human element back in to help close the knowledge gap where the vibe coding hits that glass ceiling.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So we do have a hire a partner program where you can hire a Lovable kind of like agency to help you. But we also are working on a partnership that will have Lovable experts that you can hire to kind of close that gap. So these will be more individuals versus agencies. But for now, while we're kind of waiting for that program to roll out, you can always join our Discord. I used to be in there all the time, but I'm not as much anymore. But there are a lot of people in the Discord who are like willing to help you get over that last hump. And if you catch me when I'm in there, definitely tag me and I will go into the voice chat and like help you debug, help you get over that little hump. Like that's literally how I started in this job. So I really like helping people, especially with their projects. And also I'm trying to get a program together where it'll be like cohort-based building. So you have like a group of people and you're all kind of building your business or your project together so that you can help each other kind of debug, brainstorm, etc. Because I think that's really like important. Like community, obviously, is super important. I don't know how many times I can say community. I feel like we're going to say that so many times. Okay, cool.
We love
So
community
let's
here with the
see
Salon.
what that's going on now.
We love community.
Yes. Yeah. All right. So I have no idea what I've made. That button doesn't work. That kind of works. We have different looks. That's really cool. It looked like they added a kind of advanced package called TensorFlow. It's like the OG AI to be quite honest.
That's old AI.
Right? They're over here trying to get fancy. Okay, but we're just gonna ignore that. I'm not gonna go into that. If I was building this project for real, I probably would go kind of deep into like, why did it choose TensorFlow? And I would ask a bunch of chat questions like, okay, how do I get the camera to work, etc. But we could be here all night, and I'm not gonna do that to y'all. So we're just gonna pretend like it works. And I want to show y'all how to connect Superbase. So connecting Superbase is super. Did it hook up the camera as input? No, it failed on that. I don't like the button doesn't work. Like I'm supposed to be able to click that button, but it's not. So like that's something I would like debug. Actually, I do want to show y'all this really great way to debug because I think it's useful. So in software engineering, there's this method called rubber ducking. And it's basically where you speak to an inanimate object like a rubber duck and you walk it through your code or your process. Now, in vibe coding and AI gen coding, it's really good to rubber duck as a prompt because the AI understands what rubber ducking is, right? Like it's a very common method. Like they teach it in schools. It's so common. And so when you come across an issue like this, where you're like, especially like you get into those error loops, you're frustrated, you're pulling out your hair, you're like, oh my gosh, why doesn't this button work? I've prompted it 7 times. You can rubber duck it. And the best way to do that is step 1, you want to tell it what's wrong. So in this case, I would say the capture look button is unclickable. And then I will tell it exactly what I want it to do. When I click the capture look button, it should trigger the camera so that I can see myself. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to literally say, rubber duck yourself. And I like to say to fix the problem. You don't have to say that. It understands what rubber duck yourself means. Oh, and also you should have done that in chat mode. I forgot to do it in chat mode, but it's okay. It'll kind of work the same. I've never rubber duck. You gotta get with this rubber ducking. And so what it will do is, as you can see, it will kind of analyze, okay, why isn't this working? What could the issue be? How, and it will kind of step through. It's like, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this. And then look, it says, I see the issue. The function is using this thing. It could be this stuff. And because I wasn't in chat mode, it's actually going to fix it now. So that's like a really great way. If you get stuck, it like forces the AI to say, okay, this is not working. This is how it should work. What did I do? How did I get there? And how can I fix it? Which, let's see if it fixes it. It's doing something all right. Let's see if it fixes it. All right, so connecting Superbase. I can't connect Superbase. That's also something I want to point out. As long as you see this heartbeat, it working, you shouldn't do anything else. Like, don't try to do other things because that's going to end up breaking something. Sorry. So it's probably going to end up breaking some things. So you want to wait until it's done. And then if you ever want to, stop it, you can click the little stop that was here. So let's see if it worked. Well, something happened. Oh, actually. Okay. Something happened, but you can kind of go through that process like again and again to debug the situation. So let's go ahead and connect Superbase. And as you can see here, you can see all of my different Superbase projects. And I'm going to connect this one. I forgot to delete that one. That was from my last little workshop. We're just going to use it. It's fine. Kyle has his hand raised. Go ahead, Kyle.
Can you use a single Superbase project across multiple Lovable projects?
Yes, you can. I wouldn't suggest doing it just because, like, let's say you have users, right? If you have users that you want in project A, but you don't want in project B, now you're going to have to set up roles and permissions, which now means your database is going to get more complicated. So I'm a firm believer in like keeping things super simple as possible, which means, yes, you can use one Superbase, one database for a million projects if you want to, but it's just going to get more complicated and harder to work with. So I just suggest not doing it. But you can't. I won't stop you. No one will stop you.
Okay, but you could have, like, if you wanted to do a pet selfie generator, you could have a common user base, and then some people use the cat one, some people use the dog one, some people use the duck one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah. It's just all about how you structure your data. That's it. Someone else had their hand raised, but they disappeared on me.
It's Goddess.
Oh, hey.
Hey, quick question, nerdy question. So do I go into Superbase first and create some of my databases / structures, or will this create my Superbase for me on the fly based on my prompt?
Yes.
Which is what I want.
Do not go into Superbase and start touching stuff, okay?
Oh, thank you, Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
I like you got the finger wag.
No.
Be blessed by
Don't
the
do it.
Lord. Won't go do it.
Definitely don't go do it. That is how you mess stuff up. Especially if you don't know what you're doing, right? If it's your first time, don't even go to Superbase. Like, there's just no reason for you to go to Superbase. You could do it literally all right here in Lovable. So, like, as you can see, like, I just connected my project. I can literally ask in chat mode, what tables do I have in my Superbase?
Oh my goodness.
Wait, Vicky, you've been in there doing what? No, don't go in there.
No,
asking
don't touch the
stuff.
burner. It's hot. Isn't that what we learned when we were 2 years old? Superbase
Yeah,
is
don't
fire.
touch
It burns you.
Yeah,
That's why I have
so
no fingerprints.
that's that's a very quick way to like mess things up. Is you went in there and you touched a bunch of stuff that you weren't supposed to touch, and then Lovable gets confused and it's like, wait a minute, where did this random table come from? And it's like, where's this extra keys at? Oh, there's this other thing in here. So I just wouldn't do it. It just causes too many issues down the line. So just keep it simple until you like are super confident inside of Superbase and you're like, I'm a database expert. Then you can go in there. Like, I don't even go into Superbase. And I've been engineering for like 5 years now, but I'm still like, oh, I don't want to go touch that.
It's a blessing. Now, are there any tools? Because one thing I desperately hate, especially about Google Forms and SharePoint, especially, there's so much wasted white space on the screen. Is there any way to like hone in on, okay, I've got my questionnaire, I've got Superbase is being automatically generated, Lovable's building my app. If I want to really like hone in on the UI / UX portion and make it super design friendly, are there extra tools, or what do you recommend there?
There are. I'm so glad you asked because I forgot to talk about it. So there's this nice little button right here called edit, right? So you can click that and then you can select things on the page, right? And you can like literally edit them. So like if I want to change this text and I want to call it, I don't know why I would want to call it that, but if I wanted to call it Vuitton and I wanted to change the color to this pretty pink and I want to make the text super big, I can play with it like that. If I want to move it over here or over there, I can do all types of things. And if I'm comfortable with like custom Tailwind classes, like writing my own CSS or whatever, I can just write it myself. I can do margin and padding, so that's getting rid of that white space. So it's a lot of things you can kind of do with this edit tool to edit visually. Also, if you just want to select, let's say I want to move this div down 3 inches or something. I don't know what you would want to do. But if you wanted to do it, you can select that div and then you can ask Lovable to modify it, right? So you'll have that div selected. You click save. I'm on conference Wi-Fi. It's kind of taking forever. And then I can go ahead and say, okay, do XYZ. So that's like a way to get like really honed in onto your onto your uh onto your design. Lori.
Hey, so I've been working on a project for a couple of weeks now, and what I'm running into all the time, and I've tried to redo it several times, is that some of my graphs and some of my tables and some of my knowledge just kind of squishes onto each other. So it sounds like I could fix it by adding space in the thing that you just showed, the edit. Is that right? Just between the, because my I have a slide bar at the bottom of a graph, but the slide bar continually covers the axis, you know, instead of being below it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So yeah. So they're like overlapping each other,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't look nice. And they're kind of like, I say like they're squishing into each other.
Right.
You know? So yes, you can use visual edits for that. And that sounds like it would be a margin problem. So like you can add more margin and kind of play around with it, which is really good because like you don't have to, that's too much, but you don't have to save it. So you can literally say, okay, what does this do? All right, I didn't like that. And you can also do like, what does that do? You know, and just kind of play with it and see which one kind of looks right. So I think that would discard.
Okay, cool.
I think
Thanks
that
very
would
much.
probably help. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so let's add authentication. So email login. After you've connected to Superbase, a lot of people kind of get caught up on this step, like adding user auth. It can get super scary. But the thing is, when you are adding user authentication, what you want to do is let the AI do its thing. Okay. You don't want to be super specific on this because Lovable already has an internal guideline of, okay, this is how I do authentication. So I'm going to say I want, why is that so big? I want to add user login using Superbase to my project. Like literally that's it. We don't have to be like, oh, I want to do X, Y, Z and button. No, Superbase already has it. Especially when you're just starting out, just say, hey, I want to add user login, I want to add authentication, etc. And it'll usually do it pretty. Oh, look, now it's asking if I want to store additional profile data. Sure, why not? Okay, Kyle, you have a question?
Yeah. So if I wanted this to be something where, you know, someone can't get to the site unless they've signed up and subscribed, you're at a Stripe conference. I assume you could incorporate Stripe, but like, what's the process if you want to make, maybe part of the site's free, part of the site's paid?
Yeah. So that's a great question. And there's a couple ways that you can go about doing that. So I think the easiest way to go about doing it would be to set up your database and your users have a role. So you could have like free or subscribed. And I would make it, a lot of times Lovable is going to want to force you to create an entirely new table for that free and subscribed. I think that's too much. You probably just want what's called an enum, ENUM, which is just kind of like, if you think of Airtable, it's the little drop down where you can select from it. So your enum would be free or subscribed, or you can have a Boolean, which means true or false, and you can have subscribe. It's either true or false. Like I wouldn't get too fancy with that, and that's when you start getting things to be overly complicated. And the way I would get that information is Stripe has a webhook. So after you pay your money to Stripe, Stripe returns back a true or false. You can hook that up into your Edge function in Superbase. Once it returns that true, it will trigger a function that just turns that free or subscribe from free to subscribe. And that's like the easiest way to do it. And the best thing is, like, Lovable can walk you through that entire process. And then on your different pages that you have, right, you would have to set up some type of global context, which just means something that's overarching your entire platform that says, okay, this page is for free people, this page is for subscribed people, and it just checks, okay, is it free or subscribe? And if it's, a page for subscribed people and a person is free, it will show like you don't have access. Did that make sense? I feel like that was a lot of information.
It was a lot. It did. But even if I would admit that something didn't go in, this is being recorded, so I can go back and watch it.
Exactly. Great.
No, that was really good, actually. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, awesome. So now, as you can see, we have set up login, sign up. Okay, so I know I told y'all don't go to Superbase, but in this one exception, you do have to go to Superbase, and I will show you why. So I'm gonna share this tab. So I'm in my Superbase here, and something that you're gonna have to do after you set up your login with Superbase is you're gonna have to go to your URL configuration. And as you can see, the site URL, this is gonna be where it redirects to, and that's associated with your login. As you can see now, it says localhost. We're not on localhost. That is not my URL. So to get my URL, I'm going to go to my Lovable. I'm going to click this button, open preview in new tab. Okay. So when I'm on this new tab, I'm going to copy that preview. Oh my gosh, y'all.
It looks like
Okay.
it fixed it.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Whoa, what?
Whoop,
Wait a
whoop.
minute. Wait, did it do it?
It didn't do it. Though.
Oh,
It didn't,
we were
it didn't
close.
pop up your permission. Well.
Yeah, okay. But but that's another thing. Some things don't work in the preview kind of sandbox because of those security permissions on your laptop. And one of the big ones that doesn't work in that preview is authentication, actually. So if you're wanting to use your Google login, your Instagram login, your Facebook login, and you're in that preview like, oh my gosh, why won't it log in? It's broken. Don't waste all your credits going, fix it. What are you doing? Try to pop it out to this new tab and then test it, because Google has a lot of security and they're like, no, what are you doing? But you want to get that preview link out of your thing, and then you want to come over here and put it in here, right? And then save those changes. So this is like the only thing I feel like you really need to do in Superbase is your URL configuration. If you're using a third-party authentication, that's your Google, your Facebook, etc., you're going to want to add your redirect URLs so that it makes sure after they log in with Google, it's going to redirect back to your website and not who knows, right? And then the other thing you want to come in here to do is your sign-in providers, right? So this is where you go in and say, okay, I want to do this, that, and the third. I want the password length to be 12, etc. So that's how you configure those different settings. And like I said, you can use your third party, your Facebook, your Azure, your Google, Notion, Spotify, Zoom. So they have a whole bunch. that you can kind of just do out of the back.
I'll see you guys.
And so now I'm going to go back to my website and I am going to sign up. Yes, this is my email. It's okay if you email me. Oh, I got my page refreshed. We're going to sign up. That's not my email. And I created an account. Oh, also, okay, so you see it says, please check your email to confirm your registration. You should also go turn that off because it is so annoying when you're like trying to build stuff and you're trying to test. And then every single time you have to go to your email and check it. So that's another thing. I always forget how to do it. Is it this one? No. Listen. Hold on. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. I just showed y'all. You go to your sign-in providers and you go click on email and then this confirm email. Just take that off when you're in development because it does get super duper annoying. But I did get the email. As you can see here, it says confirm your sign up. So it did actually come. And when you click on the confirm email, that's why you needed that to put that preview link in. Right there. And so as you can see, it actually went to the website after I logged in, which is cool. And looks like, oh, kind of works on my phone. So that is also something important to note. And so now that I'm like confirmed, I can now, oh, the conference is, what's going on? A bunch of people just started walking. I'm like, where did all these people go? I think there's like a little break or something. Okay, and then I can sign in. And as you can see, look, I'm already signed in. There's my account. And if you want to go check in Superbase, if you're one of those people, you can go and you can look. Authentication.
Those people are so annoying, aren't they?
You can do it though. It's okay. You can go and you can look. Here you can see, look, I signed up today. And so we're almost out of time here. We only have about 15 minutes left. So I want to make sure I have enough time for questions. But I do want to show one more thing before I just start taking general questions. And that's how to publish your site. It's super easy. You click this button. Oh, now it's getting loud, y'all. Oh, as you can see, I have 5 security issues. Don't be like Talisha. And then you can review them, like, but we're not. We're just going to publish it. And you just click this button. And then in like 2 seconds, it's going to be like done. And that's like it, which I think is super cool. All right. Vicki, you had a question?
So I do have questions, and they're actually from someone else. So I'm reading someone else's questions, but they're around publishing. So one of them is, when we publish, can the world find them, or only if someone gives you the link?
Yeah, so if you publish, like I just did here, and we have this URL, the world can find it. Now, will they find it? Maybe. You have to do some search engine optimization. You got to do some marketing. I mean, the likelihood of someone just stumbling upon your website in today's internet is a little low, but it is discoverable. Oh, I see Nicole is asking, can we customize that URL? Yes. So you see domains, you click manage. In here, you can add an existing domain. So like if I own TalishaWhite.com, I can connect that domain that I already own. Or if I don't own TalishaWhite.com and I need a new domain, I can click buy domain and I can buy it directly like through Lovable.
And what I can tell you is that I pointed a site I built to a custom domain, and when I connected it here, Lovable like went into Network Solutions and updated all of my my DNS tables. Like it was incredibly easy.
Yes, super duper easy. Thank you for that, Kyle. All right, so that's kind of the basis of Lovable. I do want to be mindful of time and give y'all time to ask your general questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If I can figure it out, okay. All right. And then questions. It can be about what we build. It could be about vibe coding. It could be about life. It doesn't really matter. All right, Brandon, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, being in the Discord community, what are some of the coolest use cases that you've seen from the Lovable community that people have built?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, people are building all sorts of things. Like, there is no consensus. There is someone who he's getting married in June, and his future mother-in-law raises chickens in her backyard. And so he built an app for monitoring your backyard chickens, seeing how many eggs they produce, see if the chickens are happy and healthy. So that's super random, but super cool. He's already pitching to, I think, Tractor Supply Co. He's taking it really far, and it's super exciting. And then you have people who, there's a woman in the Discord, she built an AI video game generator. So you can type in oh, I want a teddy bear character, and then it generates that character. Oh no, I'm losing internet because everybody is here. Let me connect to my phone real quick. Okay, I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
It's so amazing having someone that knows how to use their tech. What? You thought I was on?
Yeah, the session just let out, which I thought it let out at 6. But no, it is 6. It's 10 to 6. But so sorry that it's a little noisy now. There's a lot of people, y'all. There's so many people.
Google's doing a pretty good job of filtering the noise, so it's probably noisier for you than for us.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good, then. All right, any other questions? Dan.
So if we build a web app, does Lovable host it?
Yes. So if you publish and deploy with Lovable, then we will host it. And it's free hosting until I think it's 1 million requests, or it's something crazy. It's basically included in your plan unless you go super mega viral.
Okay, so that would be a paid plan where we have Lovable host our web app.
Yeah, so with the base paid plan at $25 a month, that comes with free web hosting. Actually, the free version does too. You just can't do custom domains.
Okay, and do we use credits when people visit the site? Does it cost credits when they're visiting it?
Nope, it does not. So you can publish as many sites as you want. It's all included.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? We got Talisha here.
You saw that Cindy wants to know if the chicken app is published.
It is. I think it's called tooflies.app. I mean, yep, it's sure. I'll drop it in the chat. He's always my favorite example. I just think it's so fun.
Lori.
Yeah, so if somebody visits our app on Lovable, do we get any marketing feedback about their identity so that we can get in touch?
So, yeah, so you don't automatically, you would have to set that up yourself. So you have to use something like Google Analytics, Posthog, etc. So that would be the easiest way to do that. But if you go to our feedback page and tell them that, hey, we should have built-in analytics, I can't make any promises, but
Well, that's helpful. Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's pretty great. Well, Talisha, I know it's sort of chaos there, so we should let you go, but I want to thank you. I mean, like, this was absolutely awesome. Your attitude and your knowledge are both really impressive, and this was just super awesome. So thank you so much.
I feel like you made something that could be very complicated, very simple and easy to learn. So thank you so much. It's been great. Wow. Everyone, welcome to the
Right,
salon.
I wonder
Now you're with us.
how many people it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It
So let me ask you a question. So you've got, you have a bunch of people here that obviously know and love Lovable. What do you want folks from the salon to do or know about Lovable?
I think the key takeaway, if you take away anything from me being here and talking to you, is that anyone now has the tools to build whatever they imagine. Like, there is literally nothing stopping you but yourself. So, especially with Lovable and everything else that's out there, you can build that random chicken app that you had in your head. You can build it. You can build a recipe app for your grandmother. You can build a learning app for your children. Literally, whatever you want to build, now you can do it.
So cool. Amazing. Amazing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You deserve an AI Salon golf clap.
Golf clap for our salon. Thank you so much. We love having you here.
Yeah.
I love being here.
Salon again.
Yes, I loved
We love
it.
community. Big fan of community here.
Me too. I loved it. Thank you so much for having me.
Great.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Talisha.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Enjoy your conference.
Wow, that was great.
I love that there's a Stripe conference on one side of Moscone and a Figma conference on the other side of Moscone in San Francisco. That's so much conferring. That's so much conferencing.
So much conferencing, and I'm sure they're all bouncing back and forth between each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just boy, are we in remarkable times, aren't we?
It's really bonkers. I mean, it's I'm so used to thinking in terms of what my own constraints are.
Yeah, I know.
What I know, and I know really well, but I don't tend to think, I could just make an app.
Yeah.
Tonight, I can just make an app. I can just make one. And that is something that is, I remember switching from film to digital and something sort of like that happening. Right now, I could create image-based work that didn't really have any precedent in film-based work. And I didn't even know how to think about it. I didn't even know how to make my mind go there. And this feels sort of the same way.
Well, and I find myself if it's too complicated for me to imagine, I find myself stopping myself. Well, I don't want to ask Lovable that. That's probably too hard. You know what I mean? When you said, I want to make a makeup thing that puts on makeup, my immediate response was, that's too hard. It's not going to, it was figuring it out. Well, and
what I was really blown away by, because I've been on Lovable and kind of hit roadblocks. I didn't realize you could then ask Lovable questions, and Lovable is then remaking
looking at its own code and
iterating. That felt like that blew my mind, because that takes that away. Okay, it might be too hard for me to imagine, right? I can't imagine this, but I don't have to know how to do it. I don't even have to tell a developer how to do it. Lovable is going to tell itself how to do it. And I think this is where we're going, which is why people aren't going to have jobs, right? On the one hand, it's mind-blowing and very exciting because, this is amazing. On the other hand, but now we don't have a whole development team. Those are real people with real jobs. That's where I live, is this kind of it's so exciting to think this way, but then wait.
But wait, I know. Well, Nicole, how you doing? Good to see you.
Hey, yeah, good. Good to see you folks too. So I think it's really interesting. I think it works really well for prototype and MVP, and you could do a new version of that app, version it out really well to get the user fit, the product market fit, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
And then I think it's also really good for, it's good for that early exploration, and then also kind of good for walking through the process of making a feature. So you could use, you know, that because the chat, you know, being able to chat with something while you're, you know, to figure out like how these different features might be put together, I think could be really, really good. Really good. The question I had, I don't know, did people know there's two things that would have to happen for it to be it would be an AR app, first of all, but an AR makeup try-on thing. One would be it needed to create the facial mesh, and then, you know, two would be to apply the makeup to it, right?
Yep.
And that would be, you know, normally like super hard. What was TensorFlow being used for? Was it for that face mesh generation, or I couldn't quite, it went by so fast I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I mean, it might be worth looking at it. I assume it was doing just that was what it did for, you know, AI stuff. I didn't see what it was doing with TensorFlow. That didn't seem right to me, but because you could probably do it with some other things. But maybe
would the next step then be like I'd bring in an API to like do the mesh? And
yeah,
bringing that in, does that break Lovable? If Lovable didn't generate,
think so. You can bring APIs in, like you can bring APIs in for other stuff. I've only ever done it with Gen AI, but I assume there's something out there that will do the meshes libraries.
Yeah, well, that's what I would do for our own app, for example.
Yeah, so I would say definitely experiment with it and just, you know, follow her security protocols.
Sure, yeah. But then could we edit?
Bring it to market. Should we do it? Build the makeup app, bring it to market?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, exactly.
I think Snap's got you beat, but yeah.
What was your question after that? Could you then go in and edit it?
Yeah, so essentially, like I've generated the code, and we have this trouble with, or this issue with game engines as well, like Unreal. Unreal has Blueprints, which is a flow charting kind of programming language.
Yeah.
And you can get really, really far, but then you might need something that needs a custom, you know, C++ kind of thing. Can we go inside the code that Lovable generates, make changes, and then go back to Lovable and do vibe coding again, or is it going to mess up what I changed? Does that make sense?
You can do it. You can do it in GitHub as well. You can dump them to a GitHub repository and go work on things there. Like, I don't know. I mean, the problem with vibe coding in general is you're like, fix this corner and it rewrites the entire code base.
Yeah, that's been yeah. Or even like the data table, it's like suddenly generating the fields are in a different order now, which broke something else.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but really cool demos.
Really cool. Yeah, it's, you know, we're in that crazy time where I think it was Dan that said it or Don, that what he put, you know, how much we love Lovable right now is the least we'll love Lovable. Like, it's just going to get better and better and better.
I think I could add one more thing based on like my design experience, you know, teaching design and stuff like that, is that it does feel like with vibe coding, it's kind of that pastiche, the mix and match, you know, collage era of, you know, the curve, right? So you have, you know, you're just going to use code, right? You're just going to use the apps, and then you're going to like take it apart and put it together like a collage, and then eventually you will, you know, code from scratch. So it's a rather interesting, vibe coding is really an interesting play for user adoption and user growth.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, maybe put out 10 apps instead of one to do your testing, and then, you know, see where it goes. So, all right. Well, we are at time. Holy crap. That was a fun one.
That was a good one. That was great. I took some ideas from that. Not really vibe codes and things. Yeah. Really great salon tonight. Yes. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Kyle. Appreciate
Likewise.
you, everyone.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks
Leah.
everybody. Have a fantastic night.